10 Advantages of Certification Self-Study. Brought to you today by CCNA Number 1. Cheaper than boot camps. Boot camps can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 or more, not including lost wages from work for the time that you'll have to dedicate to the class, hotel lodging, flights, transportation, food costs, etc. You can easily exceed $5,000 to $10,000 in total cost just to attend a week or 2 week boot camp in which you are rigorously exposed to material at sometimes extreme levels. 2. Cheaper than classroom instruction. Classroom instruction, while maybe cheaper than boot camp instruction, your commitment is longer. So you'll have to definitely show up online at a space, or definitely have to show up for some type of classroom once a week or twice a week for so many weeks or your months. And you will have to not only show up for that period of time, you will have to also consider travel costs to and from the classes. You have to consider time for homework, money lost while you are doing homework, etc., etc., etc. Not to mention there is a fee to take the college course as well. Typically, classroom instruction is either vocational or college-based, and there is a fee associated to even get into the class. Keep in mind that these classroom instructions also have a edict that if you do not take their tests on top of what's required to be ready for the exam, and do not do or perform or get a grade at or above the level they specify, you will not get credit for the class. And any vouchers associated with taking the exam after the class completed, you have already forfeited your right to them as well. So you need to keep that in mind as well. 3. Can be completed in your free time. The thing about studying for any certification on your own is you dictate the schedule. You put the hours in, and because no one but you controls the pace, you determine when you're going to study. It is the least invasive manner for you studying for your certification out there today. Number 4, you can learn at your own pace. Like I said before, you dictate the schedule, you dictate the pace, because you decide what hours you're going to put into it, and it's always available, always accessible information out there to prepare you for the exam. You can dictate your own pace, and you can dictate your own speed at which you pursue acquiring and practicing the knowledge to prepare for the examinations. No pressure deadlines. Your pace, so there's no pressure naturally. In other situations, especially with boot camps are high pressure environments. You'll spend 12, 15, 17 hours even, in some extreme cases, a day sitting in a room cramming in knowledge in your head. That's a high pressure environment. That's a total immersion approach. Self-study is a you dictate the pressure immersion approach. Some people will self-study and do the 17 hours on themselves. Some people will do self-study, only do an hour or 2 a week, and give themselves time to reflect on the information that they obtain. Number 6, costs can be broken up into stages for an overall lower cost to start. When you self-study, you're going to need some kind of, there's basically two types of products that you're going to need in order to perform successfully an exam. Actually, three types. First type, you are going to need a instruction mechanism. Basically, you need theory. Second, you're going to need a practicum medium. You're going to need a practice environment. And 3, you're going to need a simulation practicum, or you're going to need a practice exam environment. You can break those costs up into stages, as opposed to the classroom is generally 80 and 90% of the costs are up front. The boot camp, 70 to 80% of the costs are up front, maybe 90% of the costs up front. In this manner of self-study, you can buy the theoretical component or the instruction online, or the book or the videos first, finish those, study that material, then make a purchase for, let's say, the lab component, and then complete that, then make a purchase for the simulation component and complete that. What simulation? I'm talking about simulating the exam experience. 7, you can start and stop at any time. The beauty of self-study is you control the schedule, you control the pace, and you can control the level of immersion. All that's in your control. Being that all that is in your control, now you dictate when you start, when you stop, and no one can tell you otherwise. You make the learning experience convenient to you. Number 8, can all be done from the comfort of home or favorite coffee shop. Now that you have these materials available to you to study with right in front of you, you can take the experience with you. You could do it in your living room, you could do it at a coffee shop, you could do it at a library, you could study during your lunch hour at work, you could study during any spare time you may have available, or you may use all those times available to give yourself a more immersive experience. But you have the choice that you can make with respect to that. Number 9, no travel or lodging expenses required. Because you have all the materials brought to you and it's on your schedule and at your pace, you don't have to go somewhere else to sit down, whether it be a college classroom or a remote location where they have a boot camp located, sometimes even out the country to do it. No lodging expenses required, especially with boot camps. Boot camps typically tend to be in large cities, sparse at different times during the year. So depending on your schedule, let's say you live in Cleveland, Ohio, you may have to go take a week off of work and go to Las Vegas, Nevada, pay for a hotel in Las Vegas to sit in the course once you pay the course fee so that you have a place you can study at night. That expense no longer exists when you self-study. Number 10, you can focus on which ways you learn best. The final advantage we're going to talk about here is the self-study methodology allows you to focus on which ways you learn best. Some people learn best by a massive theoretical component. What that means is, as they sit and watch videos or watch an online classroom, they pick up lots of information that way. Some people, and I'm one of them, are practicum model. Basically, what that means is I learn by doing. So the more practice labs I have, the more practice I have with the software, the environment, doing certain things, performing certain tasks, the better I get understanding the product and working with the product at the same time. You can shift the focus of your study to accommodate which way works best for you. A lot of boot camps, a lot of classes assume that people are different, so they do a 50-50 split to try to accommodate and be as helpful as they can to the largest group of people. But since you're the only one involved with your self-study, you can make it the most effective for you. Now, if you are looking to study, or say I say self-study, for your Cisco CCNA exam, visit www.ccnaselfstudy.com to get started on your self-study journey to getting your CCNA today. And I thank you for your time today. And I hope I was able to explain things and impart more knowledge onto you.